So thank you very much for joining us today. Today I'll be talking about data privacy, and I'd like to give a background. Now, 120 years ago, if industrialization came and changed everything, 60 years later, changed everything in industrialization, machines and gasoline. 60 years later, computers came and changed the game entirely. We are talking about internet, and that's what gave birth to smartphones. And now these smartphones, 60 years later, are using a lot of data, and most of this is automated, and it's automated through AI. Artificial intelligence feeds on a lot of data to be able to do whatever it's doing. So that's through a form called machine learning. So right now our data is really important. That's why today we are talking about data privacy and why it's important right now to take care of what you give out as information and to understand who will use it and how they'll use it. So for starters, what do they target? The guys who pick your information. Sometimes they fairly pick it because you get an e-commerce platform that has sold you a shoe and would like to propose another shoe the next time. That's not so bad. That's borderline. But what do they target? They target your name, location. So when they get your name, they might just know the location you are in. And then the contact information. And then something else is your real world behavior. So perhaps if I am a soccer fan and then I keep on tagging my friends about soccer, that would maybe prompt them to sell me something on an e-commerce platform that is soccer related, or my ads will be soccer related. So that's what they target from you as data, your contact information, your day-to-days. And then where do they fish this information from? Though sometimes it's fair because some websites would prompt you to subscribe for a newsletter per week. And indeed they give you a newsletter per week, which is really savvy. But some websites you would land there, they won't even prompt you, but the next time you are on some other website, some of your data was used from that website to fish information about you. And then I think the most chronic, because right now we are on smartphones, is applications. Because a few years ago, Apple made a security update where in case someone wants information from you from an application, they have to ask for it. So location, you have to give information. Whatever they want to get from you, they have to give you that. But for Android, it's usually borderline, depending with who. I like the way Nokia does it, but it's usually borderline. So applications might be on your phone. They really take information that they didn't promise you they'll use. They didn't promise you they will take, and then use it in a way or sell it to the highest bidder. So that is something that we should look at. And then, of course, social media, you will always be fished. That's one of I think, the most popular places where data privacy is breached. And then now, because of that, I think we'll cross this really fast because there was information. We just go to the next one, but I'll talk about this. There was information from Europe that was taken to the US by Meta, and that's why they have a $1.3 billion US fine from the General Data Protection Regulation. That is how much you can lose as a company, or that is how much individuals' data is important. So why is it important for individuals and for businesses? So for individuals, perhaps you don't want criminals to have your information all over the place and use it the way they want to use it. So for you to avoid text messages, sometimes you just see a cling, you think Kelvin is talking to you, but it's someone who is sending you information about a company you have never met. So that means your data was used or misused or was shared or sold. Somehow, if you don't want that and avoid these criminals, then you have to protect yourself. So that's why it's important for you. And then they sell personal information. And then now for companies, your reputation is really key right now in this day and age. In the past, you just use a basic website and that's it. But right now, anybody can coin anything and misuse and say your company does not really, take care of your data. For example, I use this example all the time when I talk about data because it's the most basic example in Kenya. So supermarket, you walk in, you buy whatever you want to buy, and then they ask you for your information, maybe your number for points. They take your number for points, but they keep on sending you ads for whatever is on offer. So in the first place, you did not tell me that you're taking my number to send me offers. So I'll go ahead and say, this platform took my number and I don't like them because they get into my business so much. So that harms your reputation. And then for a business, as we move forward, you will get fines if you ask Kelley for his data and you use it in a different way than he promised. So that's about the importance. And then now, where is the fair playing ground in this data privacy? So, I think we should move to the next slide after that. So where is the fair playing ground? Where do you see yourself and say, I'm secure, or my data is being used in a good way or in a nice way, the way I had been promised to? So there have to be collection limitation. In the sense, if you are collecting data from me and you are an e-commerce site, you cannot be collecting my date of birth, some of those things. There have to be limitation. And then accuracy. So I am a news media website. I'm only looking for age, so I know who to target in terms of news and all those things. I shouldn't go beyond the niche. And then purpose and specification, that's just self-explained with accuracy. And then security. On security, I think that is also very key, that this platform is going to take my data, but I'm very sure they will keep it within their company. So they will use it, for example, if I've subscribed to Wall Street Journal for their, for their newsletters, I'm so sure they will not give another entity, or if they come up with another one, they will not give that data to someone else to send me. So I'm very secure. And then finally, individual participation. If you take my information, my numbers, my everything, I have to call back and say my name. If you've saved me as Kelley Boss, I have to call back and say, today I don't want to be called Kelley Boss, I want to be Kelvin Boss, so switch my number. I have to be able to, contact you and, participate in whatever is out there that is me. And so I think that is just about data security. And because we are on our phones, I'd like to complete and say this. Now, the protection is not about the companies. The companies would just like to use the data from you and use it to the maximum they would like to use. Because if there is all these applications that create solutions that would be very expensive if you found them otherwise, then that would mean, how do they make money? For now is by selling data. Sometimes it's unfair. So for you to make it easier, you have to look at, get a phone that, look at the privacy bit. And then when you download your application, make sure you download it from the official app stores. And then I think the most important thing is to have a good, strong password. And if there's two-step verification, that would be nice. And today we have guests from Opera Mini. I hope they have some good stuff about technology and data privacy for their customer base. Thank you so much.
All right, now from that elaborate information on data privacy from our reporter Kelley Boss, and he's our reporter right here on KTN News on Tech, we're going to be now speaking to Richard Monday, who is the Vice President of Opera Mini in Africa. Thank you so much for joining us on Business today.
Thanks for having me, Kelvin.
All right, what we are going to do, we are just going to introduce you, and then we are going to just go for a short break, but stick around because we're going to come back with you.
Sure.
All right, so don't go too far. We are going to be back with Richard Monday.